Hello, welcome to Tea with Molly. Thank you for joining us today. We are here with Monalisa Arias, a dear friend of mine, a true artist, and we're going to start off this interview with her playing our theme song that she composed and allowed us to use. It's called My Whole Heart.
About my healing, this is a song about your pain. To myself I'll be exclusive and shield me from the rain of power that you tried against me, all the while calling it love. You don't know who you're dealing with. I've got the power above. Yeah. 3 months that we were together, 3 long months of happy bliss. Your inconsistencies I overcame just with your kiss, and caring that I felt turn into something bigger down the line. Fizzled in a single instant of pure insanity. I must forgive you for posturing to control me. I release you, I decease you. Hope you find whom you're meant to be. Alone is what I must do. Cherish my own self right now. Leading up to it, still can't say it. This chorus must be patient. Yeah. The bridge is here. Leading up into a chorus that I've not yet dared to sing. Finally it is about me, so now let it ring. Here's a message, here's a power, here's a love not by the hour. I am ready to find my whole heart. Yeah, from broken to my whole heart. No, I'll reach my whole heart. Yeah, deliciously close, my whole heart. Yeah, more love than most, my whole.
You know what I love about music? I love that there's dogs barking and winds going and leaves howling, and
it all
when you're
comes.
so in the zone with what you love, it just all fades away. Like I was in the midst of all that, I was like, okay, there's dogs barking and cats meowing, and then but you do that with music and with art. You do that for people. And so, I want to start off with that. What does it mean for you to be an artist? And what is the power of your work for not only yourself and what it does for you, but for everybody else that is in your presence?
I think, first of all, thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor. Awesome. So thank you. What does it mean to be an artist? I think it means to follow your passion and to be honest. And that a dialogue with honesty is challenging, and that's been something that I've been growing over the years, and that it's still very much in dialogue with. I'm an actor, I'm a musician, and I do fight choreography, and it's hard for me to choose between those three which one to just stay with, so I choose to stay with the three. So it's kind of just channeling whatever that higher creative expression is, feeling that it doesn't come from me but through me, and staying in tune with things like the dogs barking and the winds blowing, because that's what makes it beautiful and unique. You're not going to get a perfect take, a perfect shot, a perfect song. It's a treat to be in this space and to listen to the leaves rustling and to be in nature while that song is going on. So, yeah, that's a little bit of what it means, to be honest.
Well, what are you up to now? I mean, I've known you for many years. You're a dear friend, a soul sister to me. We've been through a lot together. You've seen a lot of my evolution as a human being, and I've seen yours. But what have you been up to? What are you excited about? What do you want to share with the world now?
Well, I'm excited. I just closed a show at Arena Stage called Mother Courage and Her Children, and the show was starring Kathleen Turner. So that, to me, was a very big dream come true. I grew up watching her movies, so to audition and go through a 3-tier audition process of music, acting, and then movement components to then jump through all those hoops and be one of, I believe it's only 3 or 4 local actors that were hired from this area to be in that show. And alongside her was an absolute honor. Every day was a master class, watching her work and watching all of the other actors work as well. Watching Molly Smith, the director, work. Every day was just an absolute master class. Watching true leadership evolve and how everyone was so supportive of each other to create the highest possible standard of a show that you could have. Everyone brought their A game. Everyone this was the A game of the A game. So it was just closed that show, and I was a musician and actor in that show. I was able to play 5 instruments, so that was nice.
Which instruments?
I was able to play guitar, the stand-up bass, the banjo, the harmonium, and big bass drum that got to be strapped to me.
Wow.
So besides the instrumental challenge, it was a fun physical challenge because there was a lot of movement in it, and oftentimes with a big instrument, movement with a big instrument. And so that was challenging on the body in terms of how you stay open and not get injured, But it was really fun.
Did you know those instruments? Like, which ones did you know before? Which one did you actually have to learn on the go?
I picked up the banjo for the show, just a few chords, but enough to get through. And I knew the bass. I'd played the bass before, but I don't play the standard bass every day, so it was becoming reacquainted with the bass. The harmonium was new, but once again, that's based on a piano structure, so that's pretty easy. And the bass drum, I like percussion, so that wasn't too bad. Just dealing with the weight of it was the most interesting thing. It was the small performer, big instrument kind of syndrome that I really enjoyed.
Was it everything you hoped it to be? I mean, you talked about Kathleen Turner and like the mega star that she is, and you talk about a lot of these notable actors coming to the local DC area. You traveled from Panama to be a part of this. Was it everything you had dreamed it would be?
I believe everything and then more, and then some. It was a great lesson, not just in bringing your A game, but also a great lesson. Kathleen is a great instructor, and she's a great teacher, and she would teach as she went along her process. So I actually watched her kind of guide the woman playing her daughter. This woman playing her daughter, she would sometimes start a sentence with, "I'm sorry, but," and then make a suggestion. Kathleen just snipped that in the butt. She's like, "Why are you starting a sentence with 'I'm sorry'? Never, ever apologize. What you bring to the table is full and complete, and you never have to apologize for it." So she was giving life lessons along the way, and I made sure to listen.
Yeah. No, I
I
mean,
made sure to listen.
she's been around a long time, so.
She's been around a long time, and she's gone through a bout of rheumatoid arthritis, so she's a woman that's come through a lot of physical challenges, and she's had both of her knees replaced, and just watching that grit, you know, every day, that dedication, that grit, that no matter how long she's worked in the business, she still works hard. She works as if it were the first day, and she was a novice, so it was just, I was just watching, glued to her, and glued to pretty much everyone. Everybody was pushing hard. And it was also a great lesson in persevering and asking for what you want. There were a couple of instances where I asked for things that I wanted, moments of acting that otherwise I wouldn't have gotten, or instruments that I wouldn't have gotten to play. I learned to stand up for myself, you know, kind of be assertive. If I feel a little something, the voice inside saying something, try this, try this, try this, try this, you know, try it, to really just try it, go for it. So that was a big lesson too, being assertive.
Well, what other projects are you excited about? I know you have several.
Well, I'm going to be going back to Panama and be assistant directing Cats and I believe Fame as well. So I'll be assistant directing, but also acting coaching. One of them is with a school, so I'm helping to guide young actors who some have never acted before, others have, kind of helping them, you know, in terms of their skill set for acting. And the other one is a professional production, so that'll be exciting. It's Cats has never been done in Panama, so that will be really exciting to see what happens.
You say exciting a lot. Like, what really excites you when you think about going back to Panama and you've got these, you know, productions lined up? What is the most exciting thing about being involved in a production?
I think the most exciting thing, I'm glad you asked that question, is that I feel that I've been here for a number of years and that now it's time to go home and give back what I've learned. So I'm really excited about the prospect of channeling the things that I've learned here down there. So each experience I have here helps to shape me as an artist that then I want to funnel down there, helps me to shape actors down there or guide them or however it is that I can help unlock people. And I feel the cultural community of Panama is growing very much, and it's very much my dream to start to funnel actors, directors, lighting designers, teaching artists down there to start to grow what the discipline, the theatrical discipline is down there. That's very much a dream that I've got, that I feel is slowly coming into fruition. So that is, honestly, my dream would be to build something like Arena Stage in Panama. So we'll
It's a
see.
big dream.
That's a big dream.
If anybody can do it, I know you can do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope to. Let's see how it goes. I
Right.
think it will.
That's great. So, you know, you've been back to Panama for several months now and kind of reestablished yourself and finding your way. What has that taught you about transitioning from U.S. to Panama? The energy of the creative productions down there, is it different? Is it the same?
It's different. It's a little, I don't want to say less disciplined. It's. I feel like it's younger in terms of the structure of how things are done structurally. But then again, I believe Europe would say the same thing of the United States in terms of, like, in certain countries in Europe, you'll rehearse a show for a year before you even dream of opening it. And here we rehearsed for a month and did a show for a month. So I'm sure it's all relative. But then there's also the myriad of performers down there are all multi-talented. All of them play several instruments, sing like a charm. The singing talent in Panama is ridiculous. The acting talent is ridiculous, and there's an opportunity that Panama has that many people are able to produce their own work, and that's what I started to find when I went down there. As I started to have more gigs and I produced a music video for the first time, and it was these things that seem a little bit more in reach there, because Panama is becoming such a hub for Americas, South America, and Europe. It's a big hub for business, it's a big hub for banking, and now it's becoming a big hub for culture. And it's my dream to go and funnel that back there, and to bring artists from down there up here to work as well, and you know, to learn, to get a little taste of what it's like to be outside. That is just a reach. So that's what's exciting, is that there's so much potential and already so much talent, but it's still almost, I want to say, a raw environment in terms of where culture is in other parts of the world. So it's an exciting time. There's that word again.
So where do you go from here? You know, what's next for you? Like, what are some of the dreams that have evolved for you? I mean, in terms of what you thought you would be doing at this point in your life, and where do you go from here? Because I mean, the world is your oyster. You have so many gifts and talents, and how do you channel that? And what's that new vision for yourself?
Sure. It's I feel I feel that it is going to be kind of a two-track thing where I'm funneling culture back into my country, and there's that teaching educational component that I feel strongly that I like to guide people. I don't think not in terms of, I don't think I could sit down at a university and have a class for a year or like become a professor, but in terms of on the job, like I really like guiding people on the job, on the show, during the show. And so that's where a lot of the learning comes from while you're doing it. So I really enjoy that. And then for me, I want to continue to grow as an artist. So I want to keep doing shows, higher shows, better shows, getting into film. Panama has a burgeoning film industry, and a lot of productions are not going to shoot down there for the tax incentives. So really, maybe that's an access to Hollywood is through Panama. So there's a lot of opportunity, bright and brand new opportunity in Panama that is exciting, shall we say, to get into. So there's this idea of wanting to grow civic kind of just acknowledgement of what culture does for the country and for people, and then my own growth as a professional. So those are two things that I think will be continuing to go along side by side. Whereas before I just had my own professional engagement, now I'm very aware of how it can help other people. When people come up to me and they say that they've enjoyed taking a workshop, or say that they've enjoyed working with me in a show, or say that they've grown, that's very rewarding to me. And then I realize, oh, this is a responsibility. There's a responsibility to help people grow. So I'm enjoying that.
Talk a little bit more about your passions, because we know that you have a lot of gifts. You're an actor, you're a fight choreographer, you said. You also love music and you perform, you write your own music, you sing beautifully, you play multiple instruments. Where do you find your muse? Like, where do you get your inspiration from, and when did it all start for you?
That is a great question. And I'm just gonna pop this in there, and this is kind of a random aside, but an artist, when I used to think, I'm like, this is really hard. People tell me that I should specialize in just one thing. But now I'm really catching attention to this amazing actor, Jared Leto. He just won an Oscar. But he's got an amazing band, and he's an amazing musician, and he's an unbelievable actor, and he is doing it all. And other actor performers have also done it all. I've also done music and acting. But he kind of comes to mind in terms of somebody that I see really truly excelling in both of those fields. And what was the first part of the question?
Just where your inspiration, where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
Your inclination to music and to acting and to all things creative.
I just remember being little and grabbing a hairbrush and using it as a microphone. Like, I don't know where it comes from. It's something from within me that isn't an intellectual thing. It's very much a gut thing, an instinct thing, and it just feels right. I'm not thinking when I'm doing it. I'm not thinking when I'm acting, or I'm playing music, or doing fight choreography. Something channels through me and speaks through me. Like, I'm not doing it. So it's being in this state of constant flow that as an actor you get to experience. But as an actor, you have to have friends to grow with. You have to have other actors. You have to have a production to play within. As a musician, you can kind of, if you're a singer-songwriter, you can take a guitar and write and do stuff, and then meet up with other musicians, and that's cool. So and then fight choreography, movement, any kind of movement training is it's the same thing. When I work with people, it's something that's channeling within me. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm seeing what they have already and kind of helping just to unlock and chisel out what they have. So each one of those disciplines puts me in a state of flow in slightly different ways that I can't give either one up. My favorite drug.
How do you continue evolving as an artist? How do you continue to grow and expand your own limitations? And you get to a place in your life, when do you know that it's time to kind of stretch and reach? And what are some of the exercises you do to really tap into that next level of, I know I'm here now, I've worked hard to get here, I know there's further for me to go. How do you move about that?
If I think of it in terms of a practical thing, like my discipline as an artist, I'm always going to try to take a class, or I'm always going to try to engage someone who's
further along than I am in terms of in dialogue, or just trying to find out more about their experience or how they would tackle a certain role, or just constantly be in a state of discomfort. It's especially as an actor, you're kind of in a constant state of discomfort. You can't be comfortable, and that's where the growth comes from. So keeping yourself constantly uncomfortable is really great. When you're on stage, not thinking too much and just trying things, and often keying into that and through breathing. Through all of my disciplines, especially with acting and with fight choreography, I'm keying into my breathing, into grounding through breathing, into releasing my neck when I'm breathing, and then it's just kind of opening up your instrument to channel. And when I work with other actors, that's what I'm constantly working on, is where people are holding their breath and then helping them to release that breath, because through the breath is that all of the good stuff comes through. I think also just remembering how much growth there is. The more I know, the less I know, and then it's just staying humble to that, and constantly coming to something from a point of I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know how to play the guitar, I'm not really a percussionist, I'm not really an actor yet, no I'm not. So it's that place of not innocence but like humility, I think helps to keep you grounded and like constantly searching. The second you know something, you think you know it, you don't know it. Your growth is kind of stagnated. So that's, I think, how I keep myself keyed in, a lot through the breath and meditation as well. I'm not the most avid meditator, I'm trying to get better at it, but there is a different state of awareness that you're in once you've meditated, and then you approach the work. It's just, it's like an unlocking of a key. It's a key that unlocks a lot of really positive work. So I think that's how I stay in tune.
Well, you talked about being uncomfortable. I'm staying in a state of being uncomfortable. You know, I had a mentor once when I was just in my 20s, coming out into the real world after college, and really lost, you know, not really having a focus on what it means to advance in a career. I mean, I didn't even know what I was doing when I came out. And, you know, what he told me stays with me to this day. And he said to me, if you're not uncomfortable at least one time a day, you're not growing that day. And that resonates with me, and I think, you know, as a creative myself and as an artist, there's always stuff going on in my head, all these great ideas, and because they're my ideas, you almost feel like they might not be good ideas, and maybe somebody's done this out there before, and it's uncomfortable to be insecure because you want to know all the answers, you want to project that you got it together, but I think it's in that space of insecurity and doubt. The questioning behind, am I good enough, can this work, is really when the trick happens. It's really when you're uncomfortable and you kind of feel like queasy, is when you start to think, okay, how do I stretch beyond this? How do I get through this phase? And so as an artist, how often does that happen to you? Is it like an everyday thing for you, and how do you work through that? I mean, besides
That's a great
breath,
question. Yeah.
how do you get through the insecurities and doubts that are ringing in your own head?
Well, you stay with them. They stay with you. You don't, how shall I say it? You don't try to push them away because then you're resisting. You acknowledge that they're there, and then you send yourself a message, no, I am good enough, I got this. And you're willing to stay in a state of vulnerability. That's really important as an artist, is to be confidently vulnerable. I'm confidently vulnerable. But that confidence is a key thing, and it's something I especially found in the last show with Mother Courage, is that everybody's game was so high that it was just, but then my game was high too. So it's yes, I have what it takes. Yes, I have what it takes, but it's very funny because everybody kept saying, oh, this is an intimidating room. This is an intimidating room. So everyone was feeling that, except maybe for Kathleen. So it's having the confidence to not be timid, and knowing that whatever you bring is not what anybody else brings, and that what you bring is more than enough. You're not lacking. You're perfectly exactly where you need to be. And if you're in the room with a group of artists, it's because you need to be there. It's because only you can be there. And everybody else brings a different bag that only they can bring. So you're never lacking. You only are adding. So it's that knowledge of, well, I don't know anything. How could you possibly know? How could you possibly be an expert in everything? So trusting yourself. Even through the insecurity. Say, okay, I hear you. I hear that you're there, but we're doing this. We're jumping in fearlessly. It's being fearless about who you are. We're not perfect, but that's cool. That's what we're doing.
What do you think about the word mistake?
Bring them on, because or else you don't learn. It's I think it was Michael Jordan said something like people only saw how many baskets he made, and no one kept a record of how many baskets he missed. And he missed a lot, but he only made a lot because he missed a lot because he took the shots. So it's take the shot, miss, because every time you take the shot, every time you throw your arrow, you're closer to bullseye. You're not gonna know. You're not gonna get that skill. Skill develops over a long period of time. It's something I actually even keep discovering with the guitar that I got to discover with the show. I would before every show, I would touch upon every instrument. I would go shake each instrument's hand and kind of see where I was still loose with an instrument, like the banjo. I'd still be loose with it. I'm like, I'm still loose with you. Come on, come here. And so I'd work at it, and I'd work at it, and I wouldn't feel anything unlocking. I wouldn't feel anything unlocking, and all of a sudden, 2 days later, boom, something would unlock. With the bass as well, working out a bass line for one of the songs. I couldn't feel it. I was like, the song, I'm not getting it. I'm just not getting the hang of it. And all of a sudden, your fingers alone, your body knows what to do. So, once again, not engaging the mind too much in terms of, you engage your mind to analyze, but then when you're doing the actions, leave it behind. Your brain's not going to help you. Your body's wiser than your brain ever could be. So it's just getting in there and putting in the hours. It's Bruce Lee said something like 10,000 hours for one of his kicks or something like this. It was like, you do a move for 10,000 hours, you do this one skill for 10,000 hours, and then it's just putting in the time.
Yeah. Well, that leads me into the next question of, there are times as a creative, and also I know I speak for a lot of artists out there, and we can be an artist in every aspect of our work. It doesn't mean that we're going to create music or everybody's going to learn how to be a ballerina or dance the right moves or whatever. As an artist, as a creative, as allowing yourself, your right side of the brain, the intuitive, the big picture thinker, to really come and show up and not be fearful that you don't have all the answers as you go along. The next question is really around those creatives or those artists, or those just every human being that ever has doubts or having a hard time keeping the faith of what intuitively they know is their path. If they want to be a singer one day, or they want to perform on stage one day, how do they keep the faith? How do they keep going?
I think, how do they keep going? I think you just do it. I think you just do it. Just move. Stop thinking. Just do it. Your doubts are your traitors. But it's okay. They stay with you. But say, okay, I see you're there. I'm going to keep going anyway. And eventually it'll bloom. It'll bloom into something. But it's continuing to just physically do it. Because you can talk about doing it, but then actually doing it is something else. And there's a growth and a learning that happens by doing it. That's not going to happen by thinking about it or talking to friends about it. You got to do it. You got to pick up the instrument. You got to sit down with a paper and pen. You got to go to the audition. 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 You just got to keep going. And I think it leads me to say, all of this talking that I've been doing is just to get to the very essence of, when you get to practice art, you get to look into somebody else's eyes and connect with their essence, and that's a very spiritual thing. So if you're talking about spirituality and source, or what God, or whatever it is that is, flow, it's getting to the very simplistic thing, is that you're just one with whoever it is that you're working with, and that it's a way to connect. Art is a way of connecting that higher essence of spirit that analysis won't get you to. And that's what I love. That's what I love about it.
Well, let's step back a little bit into music, because that's really where we resonate and connect with most. We've done some writing together. We've done some creating of music together.
Yes.
What is your process for yourself, and then how do you work with others when you collaborate? Is there a process? Is there a way, a rhythm in which you can go into the zone and create something beautiful around music? How does it work best for you?
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about what my experience is like with you. You had these beautiful poems, a bajillion. And then it's like, how do you read we read the bajillion poems that you had. It was like a sheet this thick. And then it was just like, which one called to me, and then we would distill, it came down to a handful, right? And then we would have sessions, and I would pick one, and I would sit with the words, and sometimes I would just start to rewrite the words first, kind of put them more in what would be a song order in terms of verses and choruses and bridge and this, and then sometimes the music will come out first. And so I think it differs from song to song in terms of if you're talking about songwriting and composing. I think it's lovely to get words from another person and poetry from another person, and then try to set it to music. In essence, when you're doing that, you are taking their diamond and then kind of chiseling it out, and then putting your spin on it to distill it, and it comes out as a different diamond. Maybe it's a yellow diamond, you know. So it's that's really fun to do. Musically, I think playing music with people is one of the most intimate things you can do. You get to know people really well. You get to know their faults and their strengths through that, and it kind of can push your buttons, and then you wonder, why are my buttons being pushed, or what is my relationship to this person? Listening, being a gigantic ear, listening through your ears, through your eyes, through your skin, through your mouth, through your breath, to truly serve the other musicians, or to truly serve the singer that you're accompanying. That's what I love. If I'm accompanying any singer friends, I love to breathe with them and support them. The singer is the most important thing. The voice is carries the essence of the soul, carries the essence of the message. So the instruments really have to support the voice. So I think collaborating with other musicians is just listening, and then points of discomfort, trying to find what your connection points are. Sometimes it'll be uncomfortable, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have an aha moment. Either you're playing together, or if you're writing lyrics together, they'll suggest a word, and then, now all of a sudden it makes sense. But sometimes it's like pulling teeth. I believe Sarah McLachlan says that when she sits down to write music or lyrics, she just hammer at it. It's not a comfortable or flowing process. It's a really painstaking process, tedious. So sometimes you have those moments of fun, sometimes it's just chisel.
I think a lot of that has to do with chemistry as well, right? I mean, there's always energy and chemistry around everything we do, and when you're in a room with musicians or like-minded people, or even have the same rhythm with someone, there's just a chemical reaction that happens that allows things to come forth. I mean, the example with our work together, I have never flowed that way with anybody else in terms of being intimately able to share my poetry. A lot of the poetry that I wrote is really from my personal journey, and it's sometimes very painful to share that. And number two, being able to trust somebody else with your work. I think as an artist, and when we collaborate, it's like, can I trust this person? Or how can I show up that that person trusts me to do this together? Like, I'm bringing something so personal to the table, you're bringing something so personal to the table. When we get together, and you said about looking at each other's eyes and feeling the essence of someone, I think that's when powerful creations take place, is being able to tap into what we really want, each of us individually, as a project together, and bringing that energy into that. I think that's why every time we connected, every time we worked together, we finished a song in one setting. I mean, it took a few hours, but we finished a song, and that has a lot to do with practicing being around people, taking the chance on people. Being an artist is also very isolating, because we need it. There's so much going on in our heads. We need to have quiet, sacred time, but we can't stay there too long either. We need to be able to reach out. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
concept?
I would absolutely agree with that. And it's my recent journeys in terms of, so I did this really silly video, this really silly music video. If you've heard that song by Elvis, What Does the Fox Say?
Who hasn't heard of it?
Who hasn't heard of it, right? 400 million hits on YouTube. I did the Spanish version in Panama, Que dice el zorro. And it's very whimsical, it's very silly, but I was able to get a director of photography and a choreographer who gave us her location, and actors who, we had dance rehearsals, and a costume designer who designed everything. And we did it, and it's pretty good, and but there were moments when I had to be, artists who said that they wanted to be in it, and then you have to listen to your instinct when I don't see that person really showing up. We gotta cut that off and move on. Like, you can't, how can you trust an artist, but then also listen to yourself and be like, this person doesn't really want to be here. Okay, moving on. Or even if people sometimes they'll have lots of really great ideas, but if you're directing something, or if you're being the guide, and you know that ultimate vision, yes, stay open to people's ideas, listen, but also listen to yourself and be like, okay, we can try that. No, that's not the way to go. Or, I understand what you're saying, but that's not what we're going to do. So it's a constant dance with your inner dialogue to stay open to your artist collaborators. But then when you feel that gut saying, you know, it's this way, it's this way, it's this way, you know, like a stubborn bull, you have to sometimes pull your own direction. It's,
what are you most proud of? What are you most proud of? With that project especially, right?
Oh my gosh, what I'm proud of that project is that it's the first time I'm on a set that nobody else is calling the shots. Like, I'm not answering to anybody. If I'm on a set, there's a director, there's a DP, there's a PA who's telling me where to go, what to do, when to go to makeup, and this was just me. And it was like, I get to set and I'm like, I'm driving it, but then I'm in it, but then I'm driving it, you know? So it was really exciting to make our day. We had to make our day. 15-hour day, we made our day, and seeing where people were kind of being lackadaisical and tactfully pushing them, like at no point can you as a leader get ruffled, because then it ruffles the people around you, that filters down. So I really enjoyed that. It's like it helps to bring out the best. I felt it helped to bring out the best of me, to be in that position of leadership and making sure people were having a good time. That was really important to me. I want to make sure people were having a good time, and makes me want to do more. Go check it out. Katie Sarsoto, YouTube. Monalisa, The Fox, boom, there it is.
That's right. You have a lot of great hits now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something else. We talked a lot about, you know, what has helped you get to where you are. Not only the struggles, the hard times, but really a lot of the movement, right? Just keep doing, keep practicing, keep practicing. Your evolution as an artist, today where you stand, what are some of the greatest lessons that you've learned as an artist?
Some of the greatest lessons that I've learned as an artist. That you never know who or how you're going to impact someone. So that you have to be open always. You can't go into a rehearsal or into a music session or anything with a bad attitude. Because you just never know how it's going to impact people. You never know when a project. So I was blessed enough to be nominated for a Helen Hayes Award this year. And that's a thank you. And what that's like the Tonys of DC theater. And I was driving at night when I got a friend who texted me and said congratulations, and I was absolutely puzzled. I was like, oh, for what? And she was like, for your nomination. I was like, what are you talking? I was like, not texting while I was driving. I was speak to text. I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, for your Helen Hayes nomination. I was like, and I thought she was bananas. I was like, I haven't done anything, because I was thinking for acting. I was like, I haven't acted in anything for about in the DC theater scene that would be nominatable. It's not a word. That would be nominated in about a year for one of the bigger houses. I was like, and I was like, what's it for? And she said, for Outstanding Movement for a show that you did with Spooky Action Theater. And then I remembered, oh, it's 5 choreography that I did. For a project I almost didn't take it. But I really loved the director, and I worked well with him, so I took it and showed up every day and tried to give the best that I could. And then months later, this happens, and I didn't, you just don't know. You just don't know when it's going to come, when the good things will come back to you. So you kind of always have to give your best. So I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, is to stay open no matter what bad day you've been having or whatever. Once you're in the room, you're there to channel all the good stuff. So leave your baggage aside and just go and give the best that you can. I think that's the lesson that I've learned, is to just have a good attitude.
When you've been challenged, when you've gotten no's, when people have said, not the right fit, I mean, that's going to happen, right? I mean, taking those shots. How do you overcome that immediate ego that takes over and says, oh, I'm not good enough, I failed at this? What are some of the exercises? Because there are a lot of, even for me, a lot of people who kind of get stuck there because it hurts. It hurts that you weren't chosen. How do you move toward a better place and keep then taking action on the next thing?
I think it all comes from the, that's a great question. In college, I would be bummed when I didn't get things. Be really bummed. And then professionally, I just started, this is not about me. I'm just a tool. If someone doesn't take a liking to me, that's nothing to do with me. When you're in an audition, it's entirely subjective. It's whatever the director wants or whatever the producer thinks is good. Sometimes it just comes down to like your hair or how heavy you are, like how light you are, the color of your skin. I mean, it's so subjective and has nothing to do with you. That you just don't take it personally. Like I've ceased to take it personally. There's projects that I really wanted that I haven't gotten, but it just doesn't. It doesn't affect me because it's not a personal thing. It's not a reflection on me. I just wasn't the right fit, you know. In terms of when you're putting a team together, you have to put the right team together, and sometimes one person can disintegrate the team, or it's just the wrong fit. So you want to make sure that when you're assembling a team, that it's going to be a team of synergy. For Mother Courage, it was definitely that. Everybody was. Molly Smith, the casting she did was superb, and everybody in that room was not just a great artist, they were a great person, a great human being. You could feel that love. It was palpable in the movie. So the team she assembled went through that process. Not everybody made it into the show. The people she assembled were absolutely right for each other. And so you just don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's really not. At the same time, given that whatever medium you're working in, if you're an actor, a lot of it comes down to your body, how you look, or it comes down to gender stereotype. You know, so there's a lot of more work now coming up for women, but it has been a very male-influenced career. You know, kind of field. When do you say, I'm going to create my own work? I'm going to produce my own work. I'm going to write this screenplay because there need to be more women's roles, or there need to be more Latina roles, or there needs to be, you know, there needs to be more diversity within the representation of a certain artistic niche, you know. So it's don't take it personally, and then do your own thing. If no one's casting you, produce your own show. If no one's publishing you, publish your own book. You know, it's a. You don't need to be validated by other people to have the value that you have, and there's a tremendous empowerment in doing something yourself. There really is.
I love that message so much, Monalisa. I love that message because with technology the way that it is, with us being able to really understand that we do have access to things we never had before, we forget to look closely at the people we know and love and trust and look at their gifts and talents and being able to say, can you help me? I mean, just, you know, in the relationship that we have, how much of the collaboration has been us being vulnerable to each other and saying, oh my gosh, I'm not good at this, can you help me? Even this opportunity with you with Mali, I mean, me being able to ask for help, consistently ask for help, which is very hard for me, you know this, and being able to actually inspire people without having to try, that they want to give back, they want to be a part of something that you believe in. So I just think that's a really great message that you said, is do your own thing and get the support that you need, because there's nobody else in the world that can do what you do. There's nobody who lived the life you've lived. There's nobody who touched the people you've touched, or the people that touched you, to give you the gifts and the lessons, to be able to share it. I mean, what's the point in being here in this finite time on earth if we're not going to do something powerful with what we've been given and to share it? I mean, that's just, I just love what you said. Go do something, move, go do something that you believe in. So with that said, I do want you to share with us, because you're so multi-talented and I can go all day with you in terms of your talents and your gifts. I also want to share you with the world in the sense that being multi-talented, you're also bilingual. Mm-hmm. And I would like to invite you to do a song, maybe in Spanish.
That'd be great. Absolutely.
And share that with others.
That would be lovely. This has been awesome. So I'm going to give you my microphone
Yes.
again.
And that we can everybody hear you.
And the song I'm going to sing is it's my grandmother's favorite song, so I dedicate it to my grandmother, Gladys. It's called Mi Pueblito, which means my little town. It's a Colombian song, but I'm a Panamanian. I'm a singer. So this is for you, Grandma. Consentida, colgada del cielo como un farolito que puso mi Dios para que
sembrar en las noches calladas de este pueblo viejo, de mi corazón, pueblito de mis cuitas, de casas pequeñitas, en tus calles tranquilas corrió mi juventud, cuando aprendí a querer por la primera vez. Tú nunca me enseñaste lo que es la ingratitud. Hoy que vuelvo a tus lares, trayendo mis cantares, con el alma enferma de tanto padecer. Quiero, pueblito viejo, morirme aquí en tu suelo, bajo la luz del cielo que un día me vio nacer. Pueblito de mis cuitas, de casas pequeñitas, en tus calles tranquilas corrió mi juventud, donde aprendí a querer por la primera vez. Tú nunca me enseñaste lo que es la ingratitud. Hoy que vuelvo a tus lares, trayendo mis cantares, con el alma enferma de tanto padecer. Quiero, pueblito viejo, morirme aquí en tu suelo, bajo la luz del cielo que un día me vio nacer.
Well, I want you to share a little bit more about final thoughts for artists that really don't quite understand the power of their gifts and what it can mean. You know, you talked about the dream or the vision that you have for other artists in Panama and being able to kind of bring up these young local talents and have them see a big picture and a big world. You know, what is all of this for? You know, why would you want to develop other artists? Why would you want to see a more cultured Panama, a more cultured U.S., and more cultured world? For you, why is that such a significant part of your artistic?
Art is just beauty. Art is the supreme expression, once again, I think, of the human spirit. If we don't have the arts, then what else is everything else for? It helps to uplift you. If you're having a terrible day, you can put on a comedy, or you can go to the theater and see a comedy, or go and see something that provokes thought in you and provokes for you to be moved, to move you out of a position perhaps of pain. Art can heal, and I think it really can heal the world. I mean, this is a random thought, but I mean, I think about Michael Jackson. He had the song "Heal the World, Make It a Better Place," and for you and the entire human race, he really, with his music, he just got out there and he got into people. And if you feel that calling, not everybody feels that calling, but if you feel that calling and you don't follow it, then you're depriving the world of that, of somebody getting something from something you may channel. And it literally is a healing. It changes the vibration in your body when you get to sing, when you get to. Because if you think about it, people who sing, they're emitting a frequency through breath. And they're not just changing their own vibration within their body, they're changing the vibration of whoever hears them. And that is, you cannot hear beautiful music and not be moved and not feel better. You feel better. Music is something that immediately, boom, just it can shift your emotions right away. If you're having a bad day, if you're stuck in traffic, music can just, boom, can shift you right out of it. And it has healing qualities. We need more of that, especially in this world now with so much pain and strife and bad food getting into your body, in terms of you want to change the frequency that your body vibrates at to evolve. It is literally it is a tool for evolution, art is. So if you want to evolve to become a better human, homo, whatever the next human is, hominid is, art is a way to do that. It's one of the ways to do that. It literally helps to change the frequency vibration in your body to evolve, to feel better, and to heal. That's all.
Well, there you have it. Wow. Thank you so much for your gift, hon. Thanks so much for your gifts. I'm always so inspired by you. I really mean that, and not just because we're close and we're friends, but really, there are more people in the world that need you than you realize, and there are also more people in the world that need us that don't know it, you know? And so this is an opportunity for us just to be in existence and be one with the things that we love. And I think the fact that you're so brave to go on stage when the number one fear in the world is public speaking, I mean, that's in itself a gift. But, you know, the fact that you continue to grow and to change, that's so inspirational. And I really want to hone in on this because I feel like whoever's watching out there who is scared, they're not alone. It's, you know, being scared should not paralyze people. Being scared is the first phase of actually doing something that's going to take you out of one place that doesn't make you feel happy. Obviously, being scared is not a place you want to stay forever. And so what are you going to do about it? You reach out to people, you look for ways, or you watch shows or movies or go to theater, get inspired. But then not only do you want to get inspired, what are you going to do with all that inspiration? Once my vibrational pull gets elevated, what do I do with that? You know, so
pull other people along.
Exactly.
You pull other people along, and then you keep going.
That's what creation and artistry and all of the stuff that you're talking about really does. So anyway, thank you for your contribution to the world. For those that are watching and want to get a hold of Monalisa, she can be found all over the internet, Monalisa Arias. You have social media, all that good stuff. So make sure that if you want to tap into her great energy and get great content from her, and also the stories she has to share, she's very accessible. What I
Music is on iTunes and MonalisaArias.com. Find my fan page on Facebook and Google the Fox Monalisa and see what that's about. It's pretty silly. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Join us next time on Tea with Melly.